Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 6.
Some West Fargo students say they're upset over losing hundreds of dollars after a school trip was canceled just a day before they were set to leave. The change in plans was due to the coronavirus pandemic. Some tell us they spent a whole year working on the weekends and after school to save the money. Valley News Team's Joshua Pagaro tried to get answers from the school district.
Zachary Fowler says he worked as a lifeguard to save up money for a band trip to Chicago.
It was announced last year, towards the middle of the school year.
But for Fowler and other Cheyenne High School students, those plans were dashed when the coronavirus pandemic hit.
I don't understand why we're getting a partial refund for having we're getting nothing out of it.
Fowler says he's upset he's not getting a full refund.
I just kind of was like, What about where'd the rest of the money go?
Some of the students that we spoke to say that they're disappointed in the fact that Cheyenne High School let them know before the day of the trip that it was canceling it, and also that it took the school more than a month and a half to notify them that they will only be getting partial refunds. Allison Coons is in the same boat as Fowler. Coons says she held a part-time job at a grocery store to pay her way.
I struggled for 6 to 7 months saving up for this just because I don't make that much.
It's a double whammy for her since she says her mom was also going as a chaperone and is out of $1,000.
It's just upsetting that we didn't get the full amount back just because all of us did pay for it. All of us, if no matter what financial situation, that's a lot of money to put forward to a trip.
In an emailed response, West Fargo Public Schools says it pulled the plug on the Chicago trip after the city canceled the St. Patrick's Day parade. More than 100 students paid around $1,000 each for the trip. Yet the district says it was only able to give each student $638, which was reportedly more than it was contractually obligated to receive. Both students say it's money they could have used for college. In West Fargo, Joshua Pagaro, Valley News Live.
School officials also say part of the reason it wasn't able to get the full amount back was because they canceled the day before they were supposed to take off. If you have an issue in your community, call our whistleblower hotline. We'll do our best to get to the bottom of it. Call 701-237-6576 and leave your tip. A member of our investigative team will get on the case and go to work to expose the truth. Hearts are heavy in a small North Dakota town tonight after a missing toddler was found dead Thursday night in a creek. Barnes County investigators say the young child went missing in Catherine around 6 yesterday and say a search party found the young girl on the other side of town about an hour later.
Me and the missus both were, my wife, Marley, we were both out here and she couldn't take it. No.
This isn't supposed to happen ever.
No, it ain't supposed to. No, accidents happen, but it can happen at such a fast time you don't know.
Fisher says while it's a somber day in town, he's proud to live in a place that will always come together when needed. Barnes County says that incident is still under investigation. In Grand Forks, police there are asking for your help in finding this missing boy. This is Sheldon Ness, was last seen this past Sunday. That's a picture of him you're seeing right now. And if you know anything, call authorities at 701-787-8000. Law enforcement across Minnesota are warning everyone about a potentially deadly drug. The Paul Bunyan Drug Task Force, along with the Red Lake Police Department, are investigating those overdoses linked to small blue-colored pills like these ones here. They are being sold as 30 milligrams Percocet or Perc 30s. They vary in shades of blue and have the markings 30 and M on the side. Early testing shows that the pills contain fentanyl. You're encouraged to report any information regarding this substance to law enforcement. It's the first day of May and the weekend is here. The combination should prompt a lot of us to venture outside, but will the weather cooperate? Let's find out from Hutch Johnson, who joins us from his home as he continues to social distance himself. Hello, Hutch.
Hey, Mike. We do have a few more clouds up in the Northern Valley. As we head through the evening hours, we should start to see those decrease, and the radar actually showing some activity. Anywhere you see the colors here in the yellows and greens, it's been a little bit of a cooler afternoon, 50s and low 60s there, but in the Southern Valley and southeast North Dakota, a lot of 60s and even some 70s. Most of the shower activity extending from the far northern Red River Valley, not far from the Pembina area, all the way up into northern Beltrami County into the Red Lakes area and the Lake of the Woods area as well. For the rest of us, it looks like a fairly quiet evening, although breezy. Those northwest winds will finally subside after sunset. Temperatures in the 60s this evening in Fargo will dip into the 50s by bedtime tonight. In Grand Forks, a look at that weekend coming up here in just a moment.
All right, thanks so much, Hutch. It's back to business for many in North Dakota who have been out of work because of the pandemic. The state lifted restrictions, saying the state has made significant progress to contain the spread of the coronavirus. Bars, gyms, and restaurants are among the businesses that have opened their doors once again. Valley News Team's Alexandra Kate joins us live from downtown Fargo. And Alexandra, how's the atmosphere there?
Mike, I can tell you people are excited to be back outside. And while many are sitting out this grand reopening, downtown looks a lot more normal as cars are parking down the street and people are heading into those businesses that have opted to reopen today. Bar-goers I spoke with today said it's a sense of normalcy because they were able to get together with friends that they haven't seen in a while and, of course, support their favorite bars and bartenders. Old Broadway, Sports Bar, and Noble are just a few of the places that are open today. And if you are choosing to head out tonight, expect to see a few changes at your favorite places. Management at Old Broadway told me they'll ask you to find a seat pretty much as soon as you walk in and not move around or socialize. And of course, keep that 6 foot of separation. I'll have much more tonight on this story on Valley News Live, 10 at 10.
All right, thanks, Alexandra. And keep in mind that customers are being told to be respectful of the constraints that businesses are operating under and doing things like wearing masks. Distance learning will continue in North Dakota for the rest of this school year. The state school buildings have been closed since mid-March with online classes that began April 1st. Governor Doug Burgum says that a lot of things were considered in making the decision, which came down to risk for the students, for the teachers, and communities involved. The governor said asking schools to reopen would have put a burden on local school boards to figure out how to safely allow students back into the classrooms.
We're much better taking that energy of those school boards and those administrators and those teachers to say, how can we focus on making the distance learning experience as productive and as productive and as positive as we can for those students for these last remaining days.
The governor and superintendent of schools, Kristen Basler, said that additional guidance on graduation ceremonies will be provided soon. North Dakota is reporting 4 more deaths due to COVID-19, bringing the death toll in the state to 23. All 4 were residents of Cass County over the age of 70 with underlying health conditions. 40 new cases were reported, bringing the total to 1,107. 602 of those cases are active. 594 more cases of COVID-19 have been reported today in Minnesota. The total positive case count now stands at 5,730. The death toll increased by 28 for a total of 371. 369 Minnesotans are in the hospital. Of that total, 118 are in ICU. West Acres has announced that it's going to be reopening next Friday. The move will come with new protocols for the safety and well-being of visitors and employees. Officials indicate that for the foreseeable future, a shopping trip to West Acres will feel different. The changes will include limited mall hours, the closure of high-touch amenities, no furniture in the common areas, and altered food court operations. There'll also be a new policy for minors, and there will be, of course, distancing guidelines. The pandemic didn't stop a local community members from paying their last respects to a close friend. A unique funeral was held in Campbell, Minnesota earlier this week, and Valley News Team's Callie Hubbard has our story. It's only see here on Valley News Live.
This was the neatest funeral you could ever put together in this pandemic.
More than 40 vehicles and nearly 20 tractors paraded along the dirt roads of Campbell, Minnesota to remember the life of Ralph Christensen.
Well, he was a soft-spoken guy. He always had a quick wit to him. Ralph would do anything for everybody. I mean, he was just a gentle guy.
Troy Doman says Ralph was 91 years old and lived a great life.
He always worked with his hands, you know, because he's a farmer and he's out in the dirt. I'd always crack a joke when I'd see him and say, "Hey, are you wounded today?" And he'd always cut his hands because he was working hard.
Ralph was known to be incredibly active in the community, receiving multiple awards for his work. Church members, neighbors, and farmers rallied with tractors. 2 spray planes made an appearance, everyone paying their respects for Ralph.
It brought the community closer. It was touching when you pulled in that yard and saw Ralph's casket on the riverbed with the flowers and the family waving, and it's pretty touching.
In the words of the farmers, this pandemic can't stop the Campbell farming community from saying farewell to one of their own.
Honoring a life, even from a distance. In Campbell, Minnesota, Callie Hubbard, Valley News Live.
Now, to see the full video of Ralph's funeral, download our Valley News Live app and click on this story. Later on Valley News Live at 6, the stock market won't be down forever. We'll show you what hopeful trends to look for when watching your portfolio.
But next, temperatures here in the Southern Valley once again soared into those low 70s. It was a breezy day, though. 60, that peak temperature in Grand Forks. The weekend, well, it looks cooler, and I'll have hour-by-hour details right after this.